Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Uber Celtic Ninja here, also known as David Campbell. Today I'm doing a bit of Kerbal Space Program upon request, and I'm not really going to do much of an explanation of what the game is because I know that quite a few people already do know what it is. So I'm just going to go right ahead and start building. There's a lot of different capsules to go with here. The capsules basically would hold your crew, but I'm going to just go with the standard Mark 1 2 pod. It's just a dinky little thing there. Okay, let's see. So we're gonna go into all these things here. Jesus Christ! All right, let's grab. We want to find some fuel tanks. Okay, so here's some fuel. I just came straight from like the story mode, so you don't have all this stuff normally, but we're gonna make it work. Let's see. We're just gonna take some. Oh my God, that's a lot of fuel. Hold on a sec. Let's just do it. Just to give everyone an idea of what this game is. I'm just gonna go right ahead and use that. We will have the mainsail liquid engine, which is one of the more powerful engines in the game. Can I scroll out? Yeah, there we are. Alright. Basically in the game you build your own rocket and fire it and hopefully achieve orbit of some sort. If we could find some decouplers that look something like this. We're going to go with the radial decoupler. You can see we have a symmetry mode, and that allows us to have multiple rockets on the sides. But we're just going to go with two times symmetry mode, which is going to basically put one down and two up here, which is kind of neato. We're going to move on over here, get some more fuel. Let's go with the same tank as the middle one, just for now, I suppose. Is that? Wow, I think, yeah, I hit the thing just right. We need a bit more fuel on there. Is it not going on? Oh, there we go. And we'll slap some more mainsails on there, and then we'll come on up here. No, that's not big enough, is it? That's pretty small. There we go, we got some protective nose cones. Those will do just fine. Do we have a parachute? We need parachutes so that we can survive the fall. That's a docking port. This is the basic parachute, I think. These are all terrible parachutes, apparently. We're going to go with the radial mount ones, and we're just going to turn this up to, like, a bunch. Alright, we can only have, like, put two at a time, so we'll just go, like, put two on the command pod. And before we actually launch that, we're going to throw in another decoupler, but this time it's going to be to decouple the pod away from everything else. Next thing we need to do is make sure that everything is staged properly. So in this stage, these rockets ignite. The next stage, the decouplers fire, and that decoupler fires, which is incorrect. We want this to happen up here, and we want this to happen down here. So these decouple, or sorry, these fire, then they decouple off, and the main one fires. And then when I go to the next stage, the whole thing decouples, and the parachute deploys. But we don't want the parachute to deploy quite yet, so we're going to create a new thing here, throw it up there, and we will slide the parachutes up to that. So that should work pretty good for now. We're going to leave it untitled because I'm not going to keep it, but I just want to give you a pretty basic idea of what the game is. So, we have our three Kerbals loaded into the spaceship. We have Bill Kerman, Jebediah Kerman, and Bob Kerman. They're all seated in the spacecraft, and we're going to hope that they survive. We're going to hold down shift to get our throttle up. We're going to hit space. That starts the... Oh, jeepus crust. Alright. Yep, that's going to start the main engines, and you can see we've already come across our first manufacturing error, and that is no real stability when it comes to the outer rockets, but whatever. We're just gonna go with what we got. You also have to remember to steer using the nav ball. You can't steer by looking at your ship and saying, oh, I think I should go a little more that way, or a little more that way. You need to actually look at the ship and physically, or not the ship, the nav ball. You gotta look at the nav ball. And if that goes off from straight up before you reach 10,000 meters, that needs to be something that you need to fix, because you don't want to do that. We don't want to reach 200 meters per second, because it's a little trick in this game. You don't want to reach it until you've made that 10,000. So we're going to kind of cut the power a bit. We're still gaining some ground. As you can see, we're still pointed straight up on the nav ball, which is good. We're gonna break 2,000 now. All right, we're gonna stop this little turn we're doing. Oh, that might just be making it worse. That's just grand. This thing is a total beast to control, so we're going to hope that I can complete this gravity turn, because here we go. Oh, she does not handle very well, but it's going. Alright. Luckily, I'm able to begin the gravity turn. So the gravity turn is so that you can get into your orbit. Generally, you want to point around the 45-degree mark, which is halfway between up and horizontal, which makes sense. Alrighty. Oh, we are spinning like a top. Okay, so we're out of fuel on the outer engines. We're just going to deploy off those. Oh, we've already made a small error there. We pressed space too quickly. So right now we're just sat atop our thing here. I've decoupled from the fuselage. So what happens now is completely up to the will of God, because I pressed the button too early. Well, now you get to see what happens when you press the button too early. Actually, I think the force of this moving upward is holding me onto it. So it says we've achieved orbit. Let's have a look at the arc of our orbit, shall we? That is the arc of our orbit. It doesn't look like a very good arc of orbit. It doesn't look very circular to me. It looks kind of doomed, to be honest. I don't know how much fuel that thing has left. You can see how thin the atmosphere is. We're basically free from Kerbin's atmosphere. That's Kerbin down there. These are our 3 Kerbals. I'm going to pray that I have enough parachutes on this thing to bring it down safely, because if I don't, everybody is going to die. And that is not something that we like to do in the Kerbal Space Program. We generally like to keep our people alive. So let's have a look at... Oh my god! Alright. We're rapidly increasing our radius, you can see. That's by going straight upwards. Generally, you don't want an orbit like this. You kind of want one that's low and circular, or high and circular. You don't want a giant oval for your orbit. So let's just see how big this thing gets. It doesn't look like we'll be making it much further on the... Oh my god, are we going to make it to the moon? We could potentially make it to the moon. I've never made it to the moon before. That would be quite the Jeepus. Alright, did we run out of fuel? We did in fact run out of fuel. So, this was a partially, I'm going to say partially because it's not entirely successful, partially successful launch. And I'm saying partially because we have made it... Oh my. We seem to have created such a trajectory that we are going to escape Kerbin's gravitational pull. So it seems as though we're not going to be making that safe landing that I had just intended. So what we're going to do is throttle down, because we have nothing to control this thing with. We're going to go to the map. We're going to speed up time, which doesn't exist, to see if this is going to go as bad as I think it is. So yeah, you can see that we have completely broken free of Kerbin's gravitational field, and we are now jettisoned out and into space. But you will now see that we are on a different trajectory, which is the orbit of the Sun. Unknown objects. Those are asteroids. You might want to be careful of those, though the chances of being hit by one are really, really small, so no worries. But as you can see, we're kind of in a bit of a pickle here, because we've got no fuel, which means we can't make any alterations in our course, and we are not in our own gravitational pull. We're in the gravitational pull of the Sun and not the planet. So it looks like I'm going to have to end it here, Let's have a look at how the Kerbals are doing. Let's see how they're handling this situation. Alright. I don't think they tend to mind. You can see how fast we're going there. That speed is a little higher than you'd probably see on planet Earth. But a little bit higher, you know. But it's a speed, and we'll go with it for now. But that's been Kerbal Space Program. I encourage you to go and buy it and try it out, and hopefully not make as big of a failure as I just did myself. So see you next time, folks. This has been Uber Celtic Ninja, also known as David Campbell.